Hello everybody and welcome. This is Roland Hartmann from Graphic in Motion, and in this tutorial I want to show you how you can customize my Scrapbook Slideshow After Effects template. Before we get started in After Effects, I just want to point out that there are two different resolutions of this project included. So if we take a look at the project folder, you see that we have two After Effects project files here. And the names already say that one is 4K resolution Ultra HD and the other one is standard Full HD 1080p resolution. But before you open up one of the After Effects project files, I really recommend that you install the necessary fonts. If you take a look at the links folder, you see there is a folder called fonts inside here. And if you open this up, you see there are 3 links that you can follow. And there you find the 3 fonts that I used for the preview video and that I used for this project. So please download these fonts, install them on your system, and then you can open up one of the project files. You can, of course, during the customization process, use your own fonts, but just that the layout is not destroyed, I would really recommend you that you install the fonts before you open up one of the After Effects projects. So for this example, I will probably use the Full HD version because it's a little bit easier to handle while I'm recording. And you see, when I open up the project, I get this message that this project must be converted from version 10.02 and so on. So this is no problem. You just press OK. It just means that the After Effects project was created with an older version of After Effects, and actually I created this template with After Effects CS5, and now I'm using After Effects CC 2015 to do the customization. So I will just wait these few seconds until After Effects just opened all the elements, and then we should see a preview within a moment. And you see now we are here. So first of all, in this part of the tutorial, I want to explain a standard customization. So I will show you how you can enter footage, photos or videos to the placeholders. I will show you how you can change the titles. And later on, I want to show you how you can change the duration of pages and also how you can exchange or add more pages to your slideshow. So when we take a look at this project, you see that the render composition should be already open. If it's not already open, you can of course find it up here in the project window and just open it up. And you see in the render comp, we have all the pages and the whole animation. So this is the comp that you want to render out in the end. Let's get started with the customization. First of all, you probably want to enter some footage. Therefore, I recommend you that you create a new folder and call it your footage, just to keep things organized. And now I go to File and I select Import, which is now unfortunately out of the recording area. And then I select multiple files because I want to import multiple files. And now you see we have some vacation pictures here. So I will just select, don't know, this one looks nice, this one, and maybe this one here. And I will just import these 3 pictures, and that's it. And now I drag them to my Your Footage folder. Let's say we want to customize the first page here. You see in the beginning we have our cover, and then we are traveling or flying into the book. It opens up, and then we have this map page here. So if you want to customize this page, the easiest way to do it is to simply take a look at the placeholder numbers. You see that we have placeholder number 2. I will just change the resolution to full for a moment. You see we have placeholder number 2, placeholder number 3, and placeholder number 4 in this page. So I can go to the folder that's called Placeholders. Here you can find all the placeholders inside. You see we have number 2, number 3, and number 4. Let's open these up by double clicking. And now I will simply drag in my pictures. So let's move down to Your Footage. Let's go to placeholder number 3, put in the picture here. And you see that we have this vintage effect layer here and a marker that says drop your footage below this layer. So I will scale this down for a moment and show you the difference and show you what this does. So I scale it down quite a bit because it's quite a big photo. So 15% looks quite good. Let's drag it a bit like so. And now if I pull this above this layer, you see that the look changes dramatically because this vintage effect is actually a layer that applies a vintage look to your pictures. So if you do not want to use this effect, you can simply turn it off, or you can also control the strength of it by playing with the opacity. So let's press T on the keyboard to reveal the opacity, and now you see it's set to 75 by default. If I lower this to, let's say, 50 or even 25, then I get more slight effect. I can also crank it up to 100. This is probably a little bit too much in this case. It really depends how your picture looks and what you are doing. So in my case, I just want to keep it at about 50 or even a bit more, let's say 60, and this looks quite nice. You can also change the vintage effect itself. So if you open up this composition, you see that we have a bunch of layers here, and if you mess with these, for example, if you do not want a dirty lens here, you can just turn it off. But be aware that this will affect all the placeholders. So if you change something in this vintage effect composition directly, it will have an effect on all placeholders in the slideshow. So I recommend you just to play around with the individual opacity values inside your placeholders. So let's move to placeholder number 3 and select the next picture, and then we drag it below our vintage effect layer and we scale it down like so. Looks pretty good. By the way, you see there is another layer in here. This is the text layer, which says placeholder number 3. You can delete this or just turn it off or just leave it. It doesn't matter. It's only part of the placeholder. And now let's go to placeholder number 4, drag in the last picture. And by the way, I of course also could use videos. So if you want to use videos for the composition, as you saw in the preview video, it's also possible to use these. So now I have my third picture and I'm quite happy with the look. So in this case, maybe I could turn it up to 100 because this water scenes really look quite cool with the effect. Yeah, it gets a little bit more glowy. So I really like this. Let's try this out here too. That's cool. And now let's go back to our render composition and see what happened. And you see now our pictures are in our site. Now let's move on to enter some titles. To enter some titles, you have to enter the page. In the render composition, you can simply double click cover and page 1 in this case. So let's double click and open this up. And now you see we have a few layers here. Cover is of course the cover. So if we take a look here, you see in the beginning we have our cover and then we have the transition to our page. So I want to open up the 3pix01 big map. This is exactly what we have here, a big map with 3 pictures. And if we take a look at, let's say, page number 2, you see that we always have one of these layers here. They are always in this purple color and they are always called after the number of placeholders they have. So in this case we have 1 placeholder, and you can also find all these page layouts in the slideshow page layouts folder. So if you take a look here, you see we have folders with different names: 1 placeholder, 2 placeholders, 3 placeholders, 4, 6, and 7. There is actually no page with 5 placeholders, but there are all these page layouts included. So let's go back to our page that we are working on and let's open this up by just double clicking on this purple composition. And now you see we are inside our page. What I want to do now is I want to edit the titles. If we take a look at this layer stack here, you see that we have some text layers here. It says main title, second title, third title. When I select them, you also see which one is which one. So this is the main title, second title is that one, and the third title is up here. And of course, we also have these speech bubbles. You could also shift these around. So let's say I want to enter a main title, and I will just call it Our Trip to Cuba, because this was what I was entering when I made the preview video. And now I could make my travel path. So you see that down here you have 3 destination markers, and you also see that they start a bit later in the composition. So let's move our time cursor to around 7 seconds. Now everything is revealed here. And if I zoom in, you see that I have these markers and I have this stroke that is some kind of connecting them. So if I want to change my travel location now, let's say my travel started from, I don't know, Norway maybe. So I just put it to Norway, and let's say that my second stop was somewhere at the East Coast in the US. And then finally I got to Cuba. You see that the strokes follow the destination markers automatically, and if you scroll through a timeline, you also see that these are animating on. So you don't have to do anything, just drag these markers to the location that you want, and then the animation happens from automatically. So if you do not want 3 markers, then you can simply turn them off. So let's say we only have 2 markers. Let's say we only traveled from New York or wherever this is now to Cuba. So let's say we do not need the first marker. So I can simply make this invisible. And I can also make the travel path from 01 to 02 invisible. Then I only have these 2. And now I could play around with these. And you see, I can make a new travel path. And it will also animate on. Now you could of course also shift around these pictures. So let's say I do not want my placeholder. Let's say the number 2 one down here. I want it down here. So I simply select it and then I can drag it down. You see that the photo frame and this old tape here follow along. And of course now I could change the position of my second title here, which I didn't customize yet, but it doesn't matter. I can select my second title and the speech bubble together by holding down Control, and now I can move these around. The same you can of course do with all the elements in a composition, and if you want to see all elements, then we have to press this little guy here that's called the Hide All Layers button, or the Shy Guy switch. So let's press this Shy button, and you see now I have a bunch of layers that are actually hidden and that are not visible when you enter the compositions. So this is the same for all page layouts. If you want to access really all elements that are in such a page layout, then just press the Hide All button. Then you can select any of these elements, for example this plane here, and move them around. Another option that we have in this template is that you add these little doodles here. You see that in this composition I already added 3 of these. So a one boat, a car and a plane. So these stand for traveling. But we have a bunch more of these doodles actually included. So let's take a look quickly at the Doodles folder. You can find it in the project area right here. It's called Doodles. And there is also a preview composition. You see it's called preview in the Doodles folder. If we open this composition up, then you see all the doodles that are included. Actually, it has to load them. Now you see all the doodles. We have heart, sun, clouds. Many of these already are part of the slideshow, but you can add your own if you want. So let's say I am in Cuba for surfing, so I want to have this surfboard on my picture. I just select my surfboard right here, and in this case I will just press Ctrl C to copy it over, move back to my 3 pics big map, and just Ctrl V paste it in. Make sure that it's above the map and everything. And you see, where is it now? It must be somewhere. Probably it is hidden under one of these placeholders. Oops. Surfboard, where are you? Ah, it's up down there. Okay, so I just drag it up. And now you see I have my surfboard here. I scale it down. And I will place it right here. Scale it down a bit more. And maybe I also want to change the layer style. So you see that there is a drop shadow on this. Maybe it's a little bit too big. So let's turn it down to 5. And 5. Looks a little bit better. And now you see I added my little doodle here. Another option with the doodles is that you enter the doodle compositions. So if I go to the surfboard now and double click here, you see that I have 3 different layers. And you see that one is called the strokes. If I solo this, you saw these are only the outlines. Then we have the colors, and then we have the paper background. So I could also use only the strokes. For example, if I want, I could just Ctrl C to copy it over, go to my page here, delete this one for now, paste it in, and move it down. scale it. And now I have a surfboard doodle. And this is, yeah, you can do this with all the doodles here. So you can customize your slideshow even further and tell your story. Okay, so the customization of the titles is always the same. You simply search for the right text layer and double click and enter your text. And now I want to show you another possibility that you have with this template. So let's go back to the render composition and let's search a page where we have a few placeholders. Let me see. I will turn this down to half again to save a little bit of time here. This one. So I want to use page number 8 with this 3 placeholders. So let's open this up and let's open up the page layout. And you see we have placeholder number 21 to 23 here. I have 2 possibilities. I can place an individual photo as I did before in each of these placeholders. But what you also can do is you can create some nice collages. Sorry, my cats are interrupting. I have to pause for a moment. Okay, so it's always difficult to record tutorials when the cats are around, but you know, I think I can continue now. So what I want to do is I want to show you that you can build nice collages. Or for example, in this case, you can make something like a panoramic image. So let's open up placeholder number 21. And let's also open up the other ones. So I will quickly just close these because I want to have a little bit more room here for these placeholders. Okay, placeholder 21, 22, and 23. And I want to use the picture that I have already imported. And as I said before, you can also use videos, of course. So let's drag it below our vintage effect composition. Let's scale it down because it's way too big. Something like, don't know, this. What I want to do now is I want to build a collage. So I want to have the picture number 21 just contain this left part of the photo. Now we'll simply copy this over. So Control C, move to placeholder 22, paste it in, drag it below my vintage effect. Now I want to move it over so that the middle part of the picture is visible in the middle placeholder. And now I want to move on to placeholder number 23, paste it in, and now move it over to the right side of the photo, like so. And now let's check out how this is looking. And you see, now you have this kind of a panoramic image, and I think this is pretty cool. The next thing I want to show you is how you can change the order of these pages. So you see in the render composition that this slideshow has a modular structure, and you can of course shift around these elements or also delete one if you don't want it. So let's say that this slideshow as it is now has too many pages for your taste and you want to get rid of 1 or 2 of these. So let's say the first 2 pages, you do not like them and you just want to get rid of them. Let's select first of all the first 2 pages and let's just turn them off for now. Now what I want to do is I want to select the first one, press I on the keyboard to put my time marker here on the in point. And now I will select all my other pages until cover end, hold down shift, and then I will just move them over, hold down shift again, and it will snap to place. And now I created the slideshow and you see that it still works perfectly. I just made it a little bit shorter and I just got rid of these 2 pages here. I could now also delete them from my timeline, but it's not even necessary. I will simply undo this now to get back to my 2 placeholders. Okay, now I want to show you how you can shift the order of these pages. So for example, if you want to have page 3 appearing a little bit later and not so early in the animation, let's say we want to exchange page number 3 with page number 10. So this is pretty easy as well. What's important to know is that the overlap of these pages is always exactly 50 frames. So if I go to the out point here by selecting and pressing O on my keyboard, now I hold down shift and press the page up to move 10 frames backward. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's always exactly 50 frames. And if you want to change the order, if you want to shift around these pages, just be aware that this overlapping is always exactly 50 frames and you won't have any problems with the animation. So let's say I want to exchange page number 3 with page number 10. How would I do it? In this case, I would simply duplicate page number 10 for now, then simply shift it to my in point, which I marked before. And in this case, I would also drag it up, of course, above my layer. Now I take page number 3, drag it down above page number 10, move it over so that it lines up. And now I could delete this page number 10. And what I did now is I simply exchanged page number 3 with page number 10. Okay, let's undo this for now. Now, what if you want to change the duration of one of these pages? So for example, you want to enter a video that is a little bit longer than the 5 or 6 seconds that the page duration is by default. So let's say you want to extend the duration of page number 2. And this is very simple too. So let's open up page number 2 composition. And you see we have these 3 layers here. Now I just want to reveal the keyframes on this purple layer on my page layout layer. So I press U on the keyboard and you see I have these keyframes here. And the first thing you want to do is you want to shift the keyframes around. And I really recommend you to just use second steps. So let's say we want to extend the length of this to about 10 seconds. I move to my 10 seconds marker and you see before I was at the 6 seconds marker, and I just will keep in mind that I have to add 4 seconds. This makes it a little bit easier in the next step. So just remind, okay, approximately in second steps. So in this case, plus 4 seconds. Now I can simply select all the keyframes, select the first one, shift it over and hold down shift and it will snap into place. Now I'll have to extend my layer, of course, so otherwise it will get invisible. And now you also select these 2 layers down here, and these are actually the pages turning over, and then you shift them over here and line them up exactly with the first keyframe. This is the same for all the pages. Always simply line up these layers with the first keyframe here, and then this animation, the page turn animation, will work. And you see it does. That looks pretty good. And now let's go back to our render comp. And now we have to keep in mind that we extended this duration for 4 seconds. So I want to go to my page number 2, press O to move to my out point, and I want to add 4 seconds here. So I go to my time here and I simply add 4 seconds. This means we are now on 28:19. I press enter. And now you see I can simply drag this out, hold shift, and it will snap into place. And what I want to do now is, I'm on the out point here now, I will hold down shift and I will press my page up button 5 times to move back 50 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can select all the other layers, hold down shift and snap them in place. And now the animation should work perfectly. And we have a perfect transition to our next page. Okay, now I want to show you how you can add more pages to the slideshow. So in case that the pages that are already here are not enough and you want to display some more pictures or videos, then you can of course add new pages. First thing you have to do is that you have to create a new page, and therefore you can open up this pages folder here, and you see that the pages folder contains exactly all the pages that we have in our render composition here. So first of all, you have to choose a location where you want to add your new page. So let's say you want to add your new page exactly after page number 11. So between page number 11 and page number 12, you want to add a new page. So therefore you can now create a new page, and you have to create the new page inside this pages folder. The easiest way to do this is to simply duplicate one of the already existing ones. In this case, I will duplicate page number 12 because this will be the one where I want to put in my new page. So let's select page number 12 in the project area here in this pages folder and press Ctrl D to create a duplicate, and now it's called page 16. And now I also want to duplicate my layer here just to make it easier. So I will simply create a duplicate of page number 12 in the timeline, select it and press Ctrl D again. Now we will replace the new page that we have created in the timeline with the new page we have created in our pages folder. So let's drag this down and hold down Alt, and now we release the mouse exactly on top of our page. And now you see we have our new created page 16. In here you see, okay, it didn't change anything because of course the content now is the same for both pages. So when I turn this off, you see there is no change, but we will change this in the next step. First of all, I just want to realign these pages, and I already showed you how you can do this. You simply go to the out point of your new page. Then you hold down Shift and press the page up key 5 times to move back 50 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I moved back exactly for 50 frames. Now I want to select all the pages in my slideshow that are below my new page, and I will simply shift them and hold down Shift to snap to the right position, and now it reset the timing exactly. Now what I want to do is, of course, I need to put in a new page layout, because as it is now, I have the same page layout in page number 16 and in our page number 12. So you see it's exactly the same, and we want to change this, of course. So therefore I will enter my page number 16. And now I need to choose my new page layout. So whatever page layout you want to choose, let's say I want to take the same page layout as it is in page number 5, so this with placeholder 12 and 13. I will simply enter this page to take a quick look. This is page layout with 2 pictures, number 2. And if you want to add new pages, I created this folder. It's called the empty page layouts folder. You see there's another folder that's called slideshow page layouts, and inside this folder you find all the page layouts that are already used in the slideshow by default. So do not reuse these ones. If you want to create a new page, then use the empty pages, and you see that the content is exactly the same. So you will find all page layouts in this empty page layouts as they are in the page layouts that are already used in the slideshow. So as I said, now I of course forgot it. I think it was 2pix02. Yes, 2pix02. So I go to my page layouts folder with 2 placeholders, and I select my 2pix02 empty. The E is for empty. You see, yeah, it's exactly this layout that I'm searching for. Now I can enter my new page, which is page 16, and it's already open here. I select my page layout, the old one, and I drag down my new page layout, hold down Alt, and on top of this layer I release the mouse, and you see now I swapped this page layouts. And now you see we have new placeholders here, and these new placeholders are called placeholder 01 empty, the E is for the empty, and placeholder 02 for empty. And you can find all these placeholders for the empty pages in these folders that are directly underneath the page layout compositions. So inside here you can find these placeholders. So if I want to enter my footage now, I open up the according placeholder, I move to my footage, and as before, drag in my picture, drag it beneath my vintage effect, scale it down, and voila, you see that now my footage is inside the newly created page. And if we scroll through our animation, you see now I have added page number 16, and I have my placeholders that are related to these page layouts, and you do not have to mess around by duplicating placeholders and replacing them. And yeah, I just wanted to make it a little bit easier. So the difference is the placeholders in this folder are already in the slideshow by default. As you get the slideshow, you need all these placeholders, and the placeholders inside these folders are specially linked to these empty page layouts that you can use if you want to extend your slideshow. Okay, so this is it. You see that the template is very versatile. I really hope that you like it and that you are able to create some nice slideshows and nice stories with it. If you have any questions, feel free to write me a mail through my VideoHive profile or also through my website, which is www.graphicinmotion.com. I thank you very much for watching and I really hope to see you soon. Goodbye.